NATO, I'm talking about Europe. They have to work on Ukraine. We don't. The United States is very far away. We have a big, beautiful ocean separating us. We have nothing to do with it. Until I came along, NATO was only supposed to pay 2% of GDP, but they weren't paying. Most of the countries weren't paying anything. The United States was paying for virtually 100% of NATO. And I got that stopped. I said, that's not fair.
All right, so very quickly, I'm going to react to some of the lowlights from the annual World Economic Forum meeting, where we see President of the United States, Donald Trump, continuously antagonize NATO and other leaders that were present, where he seems to elevate himself with irrelevant and incorrect rhetoric of supposed achievements that he's had in his first term and the current term, and why these achievements matter so much in ways that nobody else would see. He also goes on to state how gracious he supposedly has been to other leaders and why they should acknowledge him more and express more gratitude.
But then, more importantly, I got NATO to pay 5%, and now they were paying, and now they are paying. So something nobody said was possible. They said, we will never go up higher than 2%. But they went to 5%, and now they're paying the 5. They didn't pay the 2, and now they're paying the 5. And they're stronger for it, and they have an excellent, by the way, Secretary General, who's possibly in the room. We never asked for anything, and we never got anything. We probably won't get anything unless I decide to use excessive strength and force, where we would be, frankly, unstoppable.
Well, it seems like Mr. President has decided to grace us with this never-ending mercy once again. This is 100% an example of an indirect threat, where he's making it very clear to the world that he can, and he could, but he won't because he has such undeniable mercy upon the rest of the world, and they should acknowledge him for that.
But I won't do that. Okay? Now everyone's saying, oh, good. That's probably the biggest statement I made, because people thought I would use force. I don't have to use force. I don't want to use force. I won't use force. All the United States is asking for is a place called Greenland, where we already had it as a trustee, but respectfully returned it back to Denmark not long ago after we defeated the Germans, the Japanese, the Italians, and others in World War II. We gave it back to them.
So this is just the latest continuation of the numerous of the Trump administration's countless harassment campaigns towards other countries, where they show imperialistic ambition. Just recently was Venezuela. He harassed Venezuela for months, where they eventually ended up taking action against it, taking out Maduro and establishing new order in the country. And now that that's out the way, moving on to the next imperialistic ambition, which is Greenland. He'll make it seem like they actually did have good faith intentions for trying to take over Greenland properly and adequately, but they had no choice. It was a matter of national security, and they almost had to do it. They had no other option.
We were a powerful force then, but we are a much more powerful force now. After I rebuilt the military in my first term and continue to do so today, we have a budget of $1.5 trillion. We're bringing back battleships. The battleship is 100 times more powerful than the great battleships you saw in World War II, those great, big, gorgeous ships, the Missouri, the Iowa, the Alabama. Because I thought maybe we could take them out of mothballs. They said, no, sir, these ships are 100, think of that, 100 times more powerful than those big, magnificent pieces of art that you saw so many times ago, that you still see on television. You say, wow, what a force. 100 times, each ship 100 times more powerful than the big battleships of the past.
It's a very perplexing thing to see where he, on just such an international stage, he just continuously emphasizes completely random things, magnifying them by piling on top different adjectives to emphasize how fantastic the things that they're doing in the country are, with him at the helm of these things. It looks like he's just seeking validation for it every single time he goes up there, either through himself or hoping somebody will respond. But as you see, the crowd is completely silent the entire time.
We paid for, in my opinion, 100% of NATO because they weren't paying their bills. And all we're asking for is to get Greenland, including right title and ownership, because you need the ownership to defend it. You can't defend it on a lease, which is a large piece of ice in the middle of the ocean where, if there is a war, much of the action will take place on that piece of ice. Think of it. Those missiles would be flying right over the center of that piece of ice. All we want from Denmark for national and international security and to keep our very energetic and dangerous potential enemies at bay is this land on which we're going to build the greatest golden dome ever built. Going to be defending Canada. Canada gets a lot of freebies from us, by the way. They should be grateful also, but they're not. I watched your Prime Minister yesterday. He wasn't so grateful. But they should be grateful to us. Canada lives because of the United States. Remember that, Mark, the next time you make your statements.
Well, this is just complete deranged. What's the point of unnecessarily antagonizing other leaders? You're essentially trying to little bro them in front of everybody, reassuring that the only reason they even function properly is because of you. Why does everything have to revolve around you? And why everything is much better with you in the picture? This is such a factual demonstration of what a completely delusional and irrational narcissist looks like at display.
I'm helping Europe, I'm helping NATO, and I've until the last few days when I told them about Iceland, they loved me. They called me daddy, right, last time. A very smart man said, he's our daddy. He's running it. I was like running it. I went from running it to being a terrible human being.
What the fuck is wrong with this guy? He just said that other world leaders used to refer to him as daddy, and then he repeated it once again, looking for a fucking response from the crowd. Not only that, he also mixed up Iceland with Greenland, which he does it again later on in the video. But it's very funny to see the cope from a certain individual, which I'll show in a second.
But now what I'm asking for is a piece of ice, cold and poorly located, that can play a vital role in world peace and world protection. It's a very small ask compared to what we have given them for many, many decades. I don't know that they'd be there for us. They're not there for us on Iceland, that I can tell you. I mean, our stock market took the first dip yesterday because of Iceland. So Iceland's already cost us a lot of money. But that dip is peanuts compared to what it's gone up. And we have an unbelievable future in that stock. That stock market is going to be doubled.
Again, it's so predictable as to what his shtick is. He always has to just revert to self-glazing himself and his administration as to how fantastic and groundbreaking and innovative his things are, and the things that his people are doing, the people he's put in power, and the things that his predecessors have completely failed to do. That's embarrassing when now it's on display and on the international stage. Not only that, he also mixed up Greenland with Iceland again multiple times, and right here this is what I wanted to show earlier. The biggest absolute spineless puppet that I have ever seen in my life in such a position. Caroline Leavitt, whatever the fuck her last name is. Again, just refusing to see the truth. This is so Orwellian, dystopian, just illustrating how the facts will be right in your face, and you still will try to find the way to justify or spin the narrative. Just accept he fucked it up. You didn't even have to reply to this, right? You didn't even have to reply to this, and you just embarrass yourself here. This is a daily occurrence for this administration, and Caroline Leavitt is no exception. Matter of fact, she's probably one of the leading examples of how ridiculous this administration has gotten.
We have the best equipment, F-35s, F-47, the new one just coming out. They say it's the most devastating plane, fighter jet ever. Who knows? They called it 47. If I don't like it, I'm going to take the 47 off it. I wonder why they called it 47. We'll have to think about that. But if I don't like it, I'm going to take that 47 off. So we want a piece of ice for world protection, and they won't give it. We've never asked for anything else, and we could have kept that piece of land, and we didn't. So they have a choice. You can say yes, and we will be very appreciative, or you can say no, and we will remember.